What's up guys, Benny here and welcome to my top 10 best loadouts for Warzone Season 3 because this might just be the best season yet. We've got two brand new weapons which we're going to show you in this video. We've also had a bunch of nerfs and buffs to some of our favorite weapons which you're going to want to be aware of, and also the game just feels so much better. They've done a lot of work with how the game feels and the transitions with the animations from when you're sliding and diving, and also the sprint to fire speeds. They've done a lot of changes to the magazine attachments, which has just helped with the overall feel of the game. But I'm going to take you through that all in this video and make sure that you've got the best guns possible. Now, first of all, the Hemlock did take a little bit of a beating, all right? It just kind of brought it down off the top. It was a clear favorite and best weapon at the end of Season 2. But I think it's just allowed the Kastov 7.62 to sneak its way into the top spot for the assault rifle. And this is what you're going to want to be running. You've got the Kaz 10 584mm barrel, which is tuned to damage range and recoil steadiness. You've then got the ZLR Talon 5 muzzle, which is recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. You've then got the FTAC Ripper underbarrel. It's pretty standard for an assault rifle. Recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. One thing as well, make sure to take screenshots throughout this if you need them, just to help you out if you just need to quickly reference it at any given point. You've got the AimOp V4 optics, well, which is close and an aim down sight speed. It's just my personal preference. You can adjust this if you don't really like it close, but that just works best for me. And then we've got the 40 round mag. Now the mag is the really important thing because the magazine used to have some quite heavy negatives to your aim down sight speed, your reload quickness, your sprint to fire, and your movement speed. Those have been heavily reduced. So now the gun just feels so much better when you're moving around and like you're snapping onto your targets. Just has sped the whole game up. It's like slight adjustments, but they all stack to give us a much better experience. Next, the Basilisk pistol has been nerfed, right? It's still usable, but I'll probably now be using the Desert Eagle instead. So with that, I use the SA Longshot 50 barrel, which is damage range and then recoil steadiness. The SA Hair Trigger Action, which is sprint to fire speed and recoil smoothness. The overpressured ammo, just give that flinch. So in those close range fights, you're able just to kind of maybe throw some shots off someone if they're going for your upper chest, and headshots could like just edge out a fight in your direction. Of the 13 round mag, and then we've got the GS50 wood grain rear grip, which is then sprint to fire and ADS speed as always. But probably the best secondary for you to use now. No longer probably as dominant as like a meta weapon was, where the Basilisk would like outperform SMGs. But if you're going to run a secondary, the Deagle is the way to go. But that is the meta loadout. Now, one-shot snipers are here. You are going to need explosive ammo to do that. It's going to heavily drop your bullet velocity. And there is going to be a point where I don't necessarily think it's going to be the most used thing. It's going to be fun and possible to use. But it will maybe just, you'll still see people using like the SPX to use like for plate cracks. But if you're going for a build, this is what I'd recommend with the intervention. So nice to have this gun back. But you got Nil Sound 90 muzzle, which is then bullet velocity all the way up. Because remember, we're using those one-shot, those explosive rounds. So we're going to try and counter the bullet velocity drop as much as we can. Aim down sight speed. The Ciros 29-inch barrel, which is then just kind of, I've left it in the middle, just as default, but you could potentially add a bit of damage range just to make sure you get those one-shot kills at the furthest distances. Got the VLK Laser 7MW, which is ADS and sprint to fire speed. The explosive ammo is bullet velocity all the way and damage range all the way. And then we've got the FJX Kilo Tac stock, which is sprint to fire and then aim down sight speed. That is then paired with the MP5, which did receive a few nerfs to headshot damage, especially. That happened pretty much across the board for all the SMGs, just to kind of bring that time to kill up close down, because there were some points where someone would just land a few headshots and it just felt like you were getting insta-killed. This has changed the time to kill. Now, there wasn't any direct references in the patch notes to time to kill changes, but the headshot damage reduced has made that happen, just fractionally, but we'll see how it goes throughout the season. But the lock grip precision 40 underbarrel, ADS and hit walking speed, VLK Laser 7MW, which is aiming idle stability and sprint to fire. Got the 9mm frangible rounds, which is damage range and then bullet velocity, 40 round mag, and then the Lachman TCG-10 rear grip, which is sprint to fire and aim down sight speed. And that's my second loadout. Also, just tacticals and perks pretty much the same. Heartbeat sensor, throwing knife, overkill, double time, fast hands, and high alert for Ashika. And it just depends on the mode that I'm playing, depending on the build that I use, the setup I'll use. Now, as I said, the Hemlock is still very much within the game's meta, and this is the build that we're using at the end of Season 2. You don't need to change your build. Field of T50 barrel, recoil steadiness, damage range. Harbinger D20 muzzle, which is then recoil smoothness and bullet velocity all the way. F-Tap Ripper underbarrel, which is then recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. We've then got the AIM-OP V4 optic, close, and then aim down sight speed, and the 45 round mag to wrap it up. And I've paired that with the Vaznev, which along with the Lockman or the MP5, is still a meta SMG choice, and that I used a Bruin cubic comp muzzle, which is ADS, and then gun kick control, the FS Oli V laser, which is sprint to fire and aim down sight speed. We've then got the Marquis VAR 7 stock, which is aim walking speed and aim down sight speed, and 45 round mag, and then the True Tac grip, which is ADS and then sprint to fire, as always. And just here I've got smoke grenades, drill charge, and then perk package 1. Then the Iron Sight M4. Now, I can't begin to say, like, what I love is that the M4 is just slowly working its way up the ranks. And this is actually one of my favorite guns to use on Ashika Island. If I just kind of want to, like, and especially with all the movement and kind of transition updates, this is really nice. It's just a great all-round gun. It's going to allow you to get those consistent high kill gameplays, and just like the transition, because the Iron Sight is super clean. But the high tower 20-inch barrel, don't really change any of these. I kind of leave it as it is. F-Tap Ripper underbarrel, which is then aiming idle stability and aim down sight speed. FSS Oli V laser, which is sprint to fire and then aim down sight speed. We've got the Sakin ZX rear grip, which is then aiming idle stability and recoil steadiness. And then the 45 round mag. Honestly, this thing is so clean. If you are struggling a little bit, you could probably put a little bit of recoil steadiness on there. And then I'd actually personally bring a little bit of aim down sight speed just to make it a little bit snappier. But remember, we no longer get punished because of those heavy mags. So it feels even better like transition. You could potentially go for the 60 and it feel like how the 45 did at the end of season 2. But then we've got the Deagle with there, which we saw earlier, heartbeat sensor throwing knife, and then tracker, which is unbelievable, by the way, on Ashika, especially in solos. Then custom loadout 5, we've got the TAP 56. This was incorrectly labeled. A lot of people are like, this is the best assault rifle in season 3. It's up there, but the headshot damage did get dropped a little bit, so you're not going to get those super fast timed kills all the time. We've got the 17.5 inch Tundra Pro barrel, which is recoil steadiness and damage range, the Harbinger D20 muzzle, recoil smoothness and bullet velocity, F-Tap Ripper 56 underbarrel, aiming idle stability and recoil stabilization, AIM-OP V4 optic, close and aim down sight speed, and then the 60 round mag. Mainly going to be using this on Al Mazrah, but it can also work if you want it to on Ashika. And then we got the P90 or the PDSW, which is unbelievably fun to use. This thing is mobility, especially with all the mobility changes with season 3. You're like on ice skates, and I can see it kind of with the nerfs to a few of the other SMGs start being used a little bit more. You got the XRK Sandstorm muzzle, which is recoil stabilization and gun kick control, the FTAC series IX 14.5 inch barrel, which is aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. You've then got the integrated reflex rail, which is sprint to fire and sprint speed on both sides, hollow extended stock, aim walking speed all the way, aim walking steadiness pretty much all the way, and then the TV Tacome comb, which is aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. Honestly, one of the funnest guns, and I actually had my personal best kill game using this thing of 46 on Ashika. Like, oh, love it. It's also so much fun to use. But then our next loadout is another sniper option. You're going to have the Chimera, which is a great sniper support weapon for Al Mazrah and Ashika. You got the SA Leveler 55 muzzle, which is then a little bit of gun kick control and recoil stabilization. Sorry, I didn't. For some reason it got changed. Then the 10 SA Phoenix, which is then once again recoil steadiness and a little bit of damage range. VLK Laser 7MW, which is aiming out stability and sprint to fire speed. You got the 45 round mag. Remember that changed this season. And then the Bruin flash grip, which is sprint to fire and then ADS speed, just to make it a little bit snappier. But honestly, was using this on the stream today. If you checked it out, a lot of fun to use as well. And we've paired that with the intervention, which we saw earlier, exact same build that you saw earlier in the video. Now, our next loadout, if we move along to the next one, Sakin. LMGs haven't been as popular since the nerfs to the RPK, but the Sakin is still very much a viable option for long range. You've got the ZLR Talon 5, recoil smoothness and bullet velocity, 20-inch Bruin Silver Series barrel, recoil steadiness and damage range. The RAL did actually take a bit of a battering, which is a bit of a shame to see, as I actually was looking forward to using it a bit more, but the time to kill was obnoxiously good. But the FSS Oli 5 laser, aim down sight and sprint to fire speed, the AIM-OP V4 optic close and then aim the ADS, and then the Chrono WL 55 MP5, which is recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability, and then paired that with the Deagle. Now, our next loadout actually includes a brand new weapon. Now, this to me is okay, right? It's a mid-range assault. It's kind of like a mid-range assault rifle. You're not going to want to use this long range. It's got a lot of horizontal wobble on the end. But if you're going to go ahead and use it, LR 6.822 inch, recoil steadiness and aim down sight speed could actually be a good sniper support option as well. Bore 490 muzzle, which is then recoil stabilization and gun kick control, because you really need to try bring this horizontal recoil down. The FTAC Ripper 56, recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. The 50 round drum mag and the AIM-OP V4 optic. I don't think it's top tier meta, but if you're going to use the brand new gun battle rifle, this is what I'd use. If you're going to try and decide which guns to go for in the battle pass first, go for the intervention out of the two. This isn't going to be top tier, but Deagle, flash grenade, frag, and the rest of the perk setups. Then we've got the MP7, which is unreal. The SMG balance is great now. You've got the choices between the P90, the MP5, the Vaznev, and now the MP7 as well. You've got the Schlager L203 barrel, which is damage range and recoil steadiness. VLK Laser 7MW, which is ADS and sprint to fire speed. The Demo RXT stock, which is aim walking speed and aim down sight speed. The Schlager Soldier grip, which is then sprint to fire and ADS speed. And then the 50 round mag. I love this. Probably one of the first guns I'm going to use on a Sheikah solos this season. And our final gun got heavily buffed, the STB. Horizontal recoil is a bit of a pain, makes it a bit of more of a mid-range, but we've managed to kind of negate a lot of that with this build. 24.4 inch Bruin S620 barrel, which is then damage range and recoil steadiness. FTAC Castle Comp muzzle, recoil stabilization and gun kick control. FTAC Ripper 56, which is recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. 42 round mag and the AIM-OP V4 optic, which is close to aim down sight. And then I pair that with an MP5. But those are my top 10 loadouts. Let me know what you think of Season 3 so far. I hope these helped you out. Subscribe if you're new. Smash the like button. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.